Hey everyone, Dr. Toni, Dr. Toni Coaches. I am here for you, your transformational life advisor. If you are busy, if you're ambitious, if you're this driven, impact making individual who is really good at achieving, but sometimes you lose yourself in the midst of it all. And so you feel that exhaustion and you want to be able to stress less, enjoy more of life, you're in the right place. Let's hop on in. Today, I want to talk if you're a high performer and you are pretty hard on yourself, then this is definitely, you definitely want to be here for this conversation today. You may never guess that this thing that you're doing is actually making you sick. And I know I am a high performer, I am a high achiever. However, I worked myself into burnout and I didn't realize all the reasons why or how I had done that to myself until really I had to slow down and do a lot of inner work and shift some things so that I could still be a high performer. I could still be a go-getter, but also I didn't have to exhaust myself. I didn't have to live in burnout. And so the same can be true for you if you resonate with anything that I'm talking about today. Are you someone who prides yourself on really getting things done, wearing many hats, multitasking like a pro? I used to wear my multitasking badge like a badge of honor, figuratively, of course. But if you identify as a high achiever, a goal setter, a high performer, or some other similar characterization of the sort, then you probably are your own hardest and harshest critic. Okay? You probably are. Yeah? I totally was. And most high achieving, perfectionistic, wanting to really give and do and go types tend to be their harshest critic. As someone personally who had been practicing as a licensed clinician for years, earned my PhD, 2 master's degrees, had 3 children, gotten married, owned my own car, my own home, all by the age of 30, I get it. I do. I get it. You've likely convinced yourself that being really hard on yourself is what has helped you to be an achiever. It is what has helped keep you on your toes. It is what has helped you to accomplish a lot and prevented you from settling or not living up to your potential in some way. I often speak with individuals who are very driven. They are good at what they do, they make a big impact, but they view self-compassion, like showing any kind of kindness to themselves, as this kind of means of condoning an inefficiency or deficiency in some way. It's like they think that if they aren't too critical with themselves, then they are letting themselves off the hook or letting themselves go in some negative way. And it's really viewed as a weakness or as something that's unproductive or lazy or just simply unacceptable. And I did too. I believed that too. And while there are many benefits to challenging ourselves, that's different than being your own best bully. Okay? There are some major drawbacks to overly criticizing ourselves to the point where we have this bully like relationship with ourselves. The literature and the research demonstrates unequivocally that self compassion moves us forward in a much healthier and much more sustainable manner than any form of constantly beating up on ourselves ever could. Don't believe me? Look at the research. I'm not making it up. I've lived through it. I've helped others shift their experience here, and their research supports it too. So if you like to get things done and you tend to accomplish a lot, but you are also experiencing an intense or annoying or highly negative or highly critical internal dialogue with yourself, then it's really time to get really real with yourself about the negative effects of that being an ongoing chronic conversation that's happening within you. You are not going to stop being successful. You are not going to stop being needed. You are not going to stop being productive just because you decide to show yourself some kindness. It's not going to take away your drive to show yourself some self-compassion. Pushing yourself too hard, telling yourself that you have to prove things to other people, or telling yourself that you are somehow a failure or not enough unless you're in constant on or go mode all of the time is just a recipe for burnout. That's what it is. Seen it time and time again. And if you're still here listening to this, then you know what I mean. Part of this is resonating with you in some way. And part of how I know is because I have been there. Besides helping other achievers address, prevent, and recover from burnout, I also was in burnout and I had to learn how to get myself out too. And I had to learn part of what brought me into burnout so that I wouldn't repeat that process. The challenge with shifting this is that it's hard to stop beating up on ourselves when we have been doing it for so long. It's become this mental habit. The inner critical thought process has become a mental habit. And most habits, believe it or not, have to be replaced, not just broken. Okay? And so, how do we do that? How do we create a healthy replacement for being this really harsh inner critic to ourselves? Self-compassion. I know. Okay. Cue the eye rolls or the cliche. I get it. I know. I totally had that reaction initially too. So I get that it might sound cliche, but it really is true. Self-compassion can seem almost too simple, yet abstract all at the same time. So I'm just going to break it down for you. I'm going to break it down on how you can implement this in your life starting now in just a few simple steps. All right, here we go. First step, you have to notice that you're beating up on yourself. All right, you got to call it out for what it is. Notice what it looks like, how you're talking to yourself, what it sounds like. Get familiar with the ins and outs of how you are beating up on yourselves and what that sounds like, what that looks like for you as an individual. That's step one, okay? The second step is to really imagine that critical part of you. So you've called it out, you've identified it, okay, in step one. Now step two is really imagine that critical part of you as if it were almost separate from you. Try to notice it maybe as a particular image. Maybe you give it a name or a face. Maybe you envision it as a particular, like a hurt child or you as your younger self. Whatever it is that looks like for you, it's going to be different for different people. But imagine this critical part of you as almost separate from you. Okay? Step two. And then step three is to respond to that part directly as if that part was hurt or scared or lost in some way. Okay, so say something that offers that part that you've identified some kind of support, like, yeah, that was pretty tough and it could have gone better, but we've learned a lot from this, right? Something that offers that part, that critical part of you, some support. Boom. 3 steps. All right, and if you feel any awkwardness, then you can add in step 4, which is just let any awkwardness be okay. Let any awkwardness be okay, whether you're saying helpful or harmful things to yourself, you're talking to yourself, either way. We all do it, whether we admit it or not. Okay, so we might as well get really intentional and really clear about that inner dialogue and make it be more helpful than harmful. And that's what this process allows you to do by showing some self-compassion to that part of you that is so busy criticizing you all the time. And as simple and silly as this quick self-compassion exercise may be, it is effective if you use it regularly. If you really give it a try, when you engage in this exercise, you are doing more than just changing how you talk to yourself. You're also rewiring your brain to be more supportive of you. You're teaching yourself how to reduce the stress response that happens in your body and in your brain. You're actually teaching yourself how to reduce the stress response that's happening, which is going to open up pathways in your brain that allows you to reach these more creative elements of yourself and of your mind. Win, win, win. All right? And if you do it, go ahead and send me an email and let me know how it works for you. hello@drtonicoaches.com. I would love to hear from you. Go ahead and hit subscribe, leave any comments below that you've got, or you can send me an email and you can reach out to me directly. I will personally respond to your email. Have an amazing day and practice some self-compassion. All right, y'all. Till next time.